Hi everybody, it's Kathy Ondas with Simply Cards by Kathy, and I am so glad you're here with me today. It is Friday, July the 15th, 2022, and we're here for Friday Fun at 1. Now today, we're going to do a Christmas card. I had promised at the beginning of the month that on Wednesdays and Fridays, we'd focus on Christmas in July. So today we are going to make the card that you saw, and I'll switch over in a minute for you to see. So if you're new to my channel, I'm so glad you found me and thank you for joining me. And if you are returning, thank you for that also. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And if you hit that little bell, you'll be notified when there's a new video. So I'm going to flip this camera over to my desktop and we're going to get started. So this is the card that we're going to make today. And then at the end of the video, I'll show you a second one that looks a little bit different that I've made. And I don't know if you can see how really pretty it is on screen. Let me kind of show you, but I did do embossing with gold, which I'm going to do today to show you for those that are new. So let's set this off to the side here, and I'm going to bring in, I just want to show you what I'm using before we get started, because then we're just going to move right through. So I am using the actual Lights Aglow suite from the new mini catalog. It's on pages 30 and 31, and I'm using bits and pieces from both stamp sets. This consists of both the Christmas Lights bundle, which is over here, and I'm going to bring those in and show you a little closer. Excuse me, and also the Brightest Glow bundle, which is really different. And we're using the Lights Aglow Designer Series paper. You get 48 sheets of that, of 12 different double-sided designs. Really, really pretty. And then I'm going to be using some gold foil. Now, the gold foil is in the annual catalog, and we have both the gold foil and we have the brushed metallic. So those are on pages 139 in the annual catalog if you're looking for them. They're right here and right over here. So I'm going to move this off to the side, and I'm going to bring in these gorgeous stamp sets. This is the Christmas Lights bundle, and I actually have the largest stamp here. This is the one we're going to be using today and embossing with gold. And it goes with the, here, Twinkling Lights dies. And I'm going to grab those here. There's a lot out on this table, I got to tell you. So this is the die set that goes with this, and you have options here. This will cut the die that we're going to be using today. And then I even cut but we're not using it today. I've cut this in gold foil, and I'll show you that at a later date. So really pretty. And then I'm going to bring in, we're going to use the Brightest Glow, and I'm only using it for a sentiment on the inside. And the dies that go with it are called the Labels Aglow dies. Very, very different than what I've seen before. And we're going to be using this one. So I'm going to take it out because I'm also going to show you how to use that. And we're going to be using all of these at a later date. So let me move these off. I told you I had lots to show you today. Actually, so much that my desk is pretty crowded. Here's the paper that I'm using, and this is that Aglow paper that's with that suite. And it is sold separately, but just beautiful, beautiful designs. Even some labels here in both the Cherry Cobbler and Soft Succulent. So such pretty paper, and all have some embossed gold into them. And then if you turn them over, you have this very vanilla with the embossed gold. You have some stars, what looks almost like bubbles, almost magical. And let's see here, some dots in different colors with gold embossing. This one was really interesting to me, almost like gold tree branches. So really pretty paper. But the one we're going to be using today, I'm going to bring in my supplies and show you. So let's bring these in. I don't want you to worry about measurements. If you're here with me, hi, Carol from Connecticut. I'm glad you're with me. Leave me a comment. Let me know where you're from. And I'm so glad you're with me today. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started here. So I'm going to grab a bone folder. And don't worry about the measurements. Give me about an hour after the demonstration. Everything's going to be right down below in the link. So I am using Evening Evergreen. So this card is primarily Evening Evergreen, some cherry cobbler for accent, and we're using the gold foil and their soft succulent. This is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to fold into the hill, and I'm just going to burnish this with my bone folder. I'm going to grab my glasses here. Now we're going to use a piece of the soft succulent. I just think this paper is so pretty, and I'm hoping you can see it has white and gold in it. And we're going to adhere this to the front of the card, and I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal for this. I hope you have some fun plans for the weekend. I am going to be getting ready for my card class on Monday and making Christmas cards. I make about 100 Christmas cards a year. I send a good portion of them, and then I also share them with my family. So there's that. Now I'm going to bring this in to show you, this is our accent piece. And this is a piece of gold foil. Now for this one, I took the brushed gold foil. And this is cut, I believe it's 1 3/4 by 5. And when I did this one, I just cut it. I will give you a tip. I ran it through my cut and emboss machine twice to make sure that all those little holes came out and I didn't have to poke them out. And that worked great. And then I did glue it down. I used a fine tip glue bottle, but I'm going to tell you, we're going to try using our adhesive strip on the back because I found that a little bit hard and I had to keep adding glue to hold it down. So I've cut a piece of foil here, and I've cut an adhesive strip that I'm going to go ahead and put on the back. Now, if you've never used the adhesive strips, they are so easy to use. You just peel the back off, and then you place it on the back of your paper or cardstock, whatever it is that you're using. And I am going, this fits almost perfectly, but I'm going to put it down towards the end because in the end, I am going to have to trim it down to fit that piece of designer series paper. So let's put that there, and I'm just going to adhere it with a little piece of tape, and I'm going to bring in my cut and emboss machine. So hopefully you can see that and it won't make too much noise for you. And I want to make sure that I get this behind the lines. So let's run this through, and I am going to run it through twice just to make sure that all of those little holes punch out. And if they do, they should stay right on the block. Okay, let's bring that out. And I think we're going to be good. I'm going to leave this plate here hopefully. And we're just going to pull this off. I love this tape because it doesn't stick and tear any of my paper. This tape is the Post-it note tape, and I just get it off Amazon, but it works wonders. So we're going to move this off to the side, and I'm going to bet when I pull the backing off, a lot of these little dots are going to fall out. And I am going to punch some of them, and hopefully they will be there. Now, when I punched, and I know we don't have this anymore because there were some issues with it, I used my magnetic cutting plate. And I found that almost all those little dots stayed right on the magnetic cutting plate. I had nothing actually to punch out. But I also added an extra layer to this by using the adhesive backing. So that may have held them in place. I'm going to try using my little brush here, but I really don't want to. Oh, that works well. I'm sorry for the noise. And I'm doing it on the back because I don't want to scratch my foil. So let's see how we did here. Just a few more. Okay, and let me get these all off here so that they don't get in our way. All right, now to adhere this, I want to trim this off. So I'm going to bring my trimmer in. And I only need this to be 4 inches long. So I'm going to trim this down to right about here because I want to take that line off. Not quite so much. I have it at right about 1 5/8. There we go. And now I'm going to trim this down to 4 inches. So hopefully you can see this. All right. And let's get this out of our way. And we're ready to put this on the back. So all I'm going to do with this is peel this back. If you've not used our adhesive strips before, I love them. They're pretty easy to peel. I just use my pick tool to pull it, and you just pull it off there. And then I want the wider part, or the more bubbles that you see. And let's do this straight for a change. Okay, so we're ready with that, and now we're going to emboss our Christmas tree. So I'm going to put this off to the side, and I'm going to bring in my supplies for embossing. Now, I don't know how many of you've embossed before, so bear with me. We're going to use Versamark ink. It's the watermark stamp pad that you can use even on to make just like the same color watermark on your paper. I'm pulling in a piece of Evening Evergreen. Now, in this bundle comes this embossing set, which I love. It has an embossing buddy. This takes the static out of your paper. You simply wipe it across your paper, and it keeps the embossing powder from sticking to your paper when you are embossing it. Comes with this little brush. It does get hot when you emboss, so I use my tweezers to hold this down so that I don't burn my fingers, which I've done before. And then you have this great little tray. So I have covered a piece of cardboard or chipboard that comes on the back of our 6x6 papers with a piece of foil because I find it helps to heat the cardstock with that. So let's move this out of the way and let's stamp our image. I'm going to bring in the Christmas tree, and I pretty much go over it lightly several times. I don't press too hard because I don't want to get this Versamark ink on the edge of my card or edge of my stamp, because then I'm going to end up embossing it also. So just going to press down good. Okay. And hopefully I'm going to pick this up and hopefully you can see the image. And now we're going to emboss it. So I'm going to bring in my little tray here. And I'm simply going to sprinkle this all over. And I love the tray because it catches it. And I'm using quite a bit here. And just because I want to make sure that I get good coverage. And I'm going to tap it off, and I do, but I have a little bit of powder on the edge here. So I'm just going to brush that off lightly, and we're going to move this out of our way. And I'm going to bring in my foil. Now I have my heat gun here, and I apologize for the noise it's going to make, but I'm going to turn it on and let it heat up for a minute before I put it to the paper, and then just watch how the powder turns shiny, and that's how you know that your embossing has taken. So I'm just going to hold this down here, and I'm going to bring this in, and I keep moving it gently because you can burn your paper. And isn't that cool how that changes as it heats, the embossing powder heats up? I keep moving it gently. And I just follow it around. And there we are. I apologize for the loud noise, but there's really no way to emboss without hearing that. So here's our image. And in order to save some time, and so you did not have to listen to me leave and go over and cut this image out, I'm going to show you what you would do in case you are new to embossing or die cutting. Here's the image, and you'll just place this on here and run it through your cut and emboss machine. And I'm going to set that aside because due to TV, I was able to do that at a time. So we're going to get ready to put this on our card. So I'm going to grab my Stampin' Dimensionals and my pick tool, and we're just going to put these on. Now I am going to put one right up here on the top, and it fits actually perfectly. The first time I made the card, I actually used the mini Stampin' Dimensional, and I really didn't have to. I'm just going to use my fingers. I do put a lot on these because I want it to withstand when it goes through the mail. And I'm going to put another one on the bottom. Okay. So I'm going to put this right on the center of my card. Now, when I made this for the first time, I thought of putting a sentiment on the front, but it kind of detracted from the evergreen or just from the design of the card. So I actually was stamping with a bunch of teammates and they suggested not putting a greeting on. And you know, that's true. You don't have to have a greeting on every card. I actually put my greeting on the inside, but I wanted to add some color to it. So a couple ways you can do that. With this suite comes these really beautiful mini backed pearls. They're red, cherry cobbler, soft succulent, you have silver, and you have gold. And I thought the red would bring a lot to it. But when I made this card, and the other one I'm going to show you, I actually used my iridescent pearls and I colored them. And for time's sake, I am going to use these red and green adhesive backed ones, but I want to show you how to use what you have. So if you have the gems, the clear gems, use those. If you have pearls, use those. And simply take a Stampin' Blends. This is Cherry Cobbler Dark, and color your pearls or your clear iridescent gems, and then let them dry, and then just pick them up and put them on your card. So again, I'm all about using what you have. You don't have to have everything that I have to show you, but just use what you have in your craft supplies and make it your own card. So I'm going to pick up some of these cherry cobbler, and I'm just going to add some to the tree so it looks like it has some color to it. I love color and I love cherry cobbler. It is one of my favorite colors. That and evening evergreen and soft succulent. I know evening evergreen and soft succulent are 2021, 2023 colors and are probably going to retire next year. And I'm also already grieving they're retiring because they are three of my favorite colors. And let's just put one more on here. Let's pick this up. Okay, so here's the outside of our card. Now for the inside of our card, I wanted to keep it pretty simple. So I have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4, and I decided to carry through the paper. You can see it's even cut off the edge there, and just going to adhere that to the right side of our basic white cardstock. So I'm going to use my glue to do that. And this is simply the multi-purpose glue, or the green glue as we call it a lot, that I have put into that bottle with the thin edge, thin point, thin edge. I'm thinking faster than I'm talking. Now, if you like today's video, please give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button and help me grow my channel. Let's make sure I got this straight, because I am challenged when it comes to doing things straight. And let's just move this over a little bit. Perfect. Now, I am going to stamp this using Evening Evergreen. And I forgot that, so I'm going to grab it here. And I'm using the stamp that says, "May the peace of the season light your world, and may your new year be the brightest." And that is from the Brightest Glow stamp set. And I've used this before in the card I'm going to show you coming up, so I know it's straight. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. And again, this is Evening Evergreen. And let's just stamp that. It did smear a little bit. But I'm going to fix that, and I I don't want to leave it like that. So I'll do that when we're done, and then I'll replace the inside. But that's what it would look like. So here's your card, or our card. And it's the same as this one. You can see a little bit of difference in the color because I colored these pearls. But let me bring in the other one I did. And I'd love to hear from you which one you like best. This one is done with cherry cobbler. And I used the background from the papers that I showed you. It's very vanilla with gold, almost snowflakes and stars, and did the same thing. The card is exactly the same, just different colors. And the inside, well, the card opens up to the left, where this one opens to the top, and did the same thing with the strip in the greeting. So two different, same card, a little bit different in color and style. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will be back on Monday at 7 p.m. For our Monday evening video. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Thank you for joining me, and you have a great rest of your day. See you soon.